Hi, this is April Burson with Coastal Life Properties, and I'm here with my friend Ed Howk with Space Coast Jeep Club. How are you today?
Good. How you doing, April?
I'm doing awesome.
Awesome.
So we're going to do a little bit of questions about the Space Coast Jeep Club and what it has to offer, just a little bit about it. So let's get started.
All right.
All right. So can you give us a little information about the Space Coast Jeep Club?
Okay. So it was founded 10 years ago. We're coming out on our 10-year anniversary this year. Back in 2013, it was started. It's the only 501c3 nonprofit Jeep club in the Brevard County. Hence the name Space Coast Jeep Clubs, where we reside. And we're basically a community Jeep club that does things for the community. We have some charity events that we have. We have some meet and greets. We do some trail rides with our members, parades, and such.
Yeah, a lot of good events, huh?
Yeah.
Awesome. So if somebody wants to test out the Space Coast Jeep Club for themselves, how can they go about doing that?
Well, that's our monthly meet and greets. So we have meet and greets that are open to the public. We have them from the south part of the county all the way to the north part of the county. As you know, we're kind of a long county, so we have them all the way down in Palm Bay. Then we have one in Satellite Beach at Long Doggers. We have one at Beachfly Brewing on the weekends if you can't make a weeknight. That's up in Rockledge. And then we have a Sonic meet and greet. That was probably one of our very first ones. It's been around forever up here in Merritt Island.
Awesome. So you get a little bit of each one.
We're trying to make it so that anybody can attend, you know, whether you have something going on Thursday, you can't make a Thursday, then maybe you can make a Tuesday up here in Merritt Island.
Awesome.
Or maybe you can do Sunday on Beachfly. So we try and be available just for the community on different days and different times and places.
That's great. So if somebody goes to one of these meet and greets and they really like what the Space Coast has to offer, how can they become a member?
Well, it's really easy. You can go right to our website. We have a tab right up the top that says membership. You click on that, and the membership information drops down. You fill out your name, particulars about your Jeep, and so forth. And then there's a link right there where you do a PayPal. It's $30 a year to be a member of the Jeep Club. And as I said, you do have to own a Jeep. So you put all your particulars of what you have in there, and that's good for a year for you and your family.
Awesome. That's good. So it's good to know. Can you kind of tell us, like, do you have to have a Wrangler to be in the club or?
No, any Jeep, if it has a Jeep logo on it, you can be in the club. So
awesome.
Part of the membership that you fill out, you put down, specify the make and model. It doesn't matter what year. It can be a 52 Willys to a 2018 Renegade.
Awesome.
If you own a Jeep, you can be in it.
Awesome. That's very cool. So the next thing, what are the primary goals of the Space Coast Jeep Club and how are they accomplished?
That's a great question. That's a very broad statement and question. The primary goals, I would say, are community outreach and also to educate people about their Jeeps and what they can do, where they can go, and the kind of things that they can do with them. We also do charities, fundraisers for different charitable organizations, as well as parades, like I mentioned last time.
Yeah.
And so forth.
Awesome. Very cool. So the other thing is, I know that there is a Tread Lightly program. How does the Space Coast Jeep Club do the Tread Lightly practices, and kind of what is Tread Lightly?
So Tread Lightly is a program it's a national program that's been adopted to make sure that the wild areas that we encounter stay wild, basically.
Yeah.
If you're in a natural habitat, you always want to leave it better than you found it. So if you see trash out there, pick it up and take it with you. Make sure you stay on the marked trails. Don't go through areas you don't know that are trails that you could be running over endangered species or crushing bushes you don't know. So most of those wildlife management areas have marked trails, and we stay on those and abide by those rules so that we're always welcome to go out in those places with those people.
So we talked about events that the Space Coast Jeep Club does for the community and for its members. Do you have any events that are coming up here pretty soon?
Yes, I do. We have our poker run coming up. So Saturday, August 12th, we will have not our first poker run. We did one a few years back, but we're bringing it back. It seemed like it was a really popular thing. The members wanted to do it, and I think it's going to be a great outreach program to give back to some local charities.
Awesome. What charities are those? Can you tell us a little bit about them?
Sure. So we have 4 charities that are going to benefit from this poker run, and it is the Brevard County SPCA, the Children's Hunger Project, and Back Brevard Heroes, as well as the DAV Brevard chapter.
Awesome, very good. So, if you don't know anything about a poker run and what it entails, can you give our viewers a little bit of how that works?
Sure. So poker run designed generally to benefit a cause or some cause. So that's why we chose these as part of our community outreach. So we're going to give the money to them. We will start at a location, which this location will start at Boniface Hires, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Cocoa,
Okay.
which is one of our sponsors of the Jeep Club. They're hosting us. We will register them there, and then we'll give them their first card. And then from there, there'll be directions on that card where they go next. And you have 5 locations that you go to. You get a card at each location, and then at the end of the poker run, we put all the cards together. We go through them, and we see who the best hands are. So we have some
Awesome.
prizes for the top 3 hands, as well as the worst hand. If you're not a great poker player and you got the worst hand, you always feel like you lose.
Woohoo!
Come to
Everybody's a
this
winner.
event. Exactly. You might win by having the
Awesome.
worst hand.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
We got a
Yeah.
lot of local businesses that donated stuff for prizes, and Space Coast Jeep Club also put some money in to do some prizes. So we have lots of prizes, all Jeep-oriented prizes. It should be a great turnout. I'm really hoping for it.
Awesome.
And it also gives back to local businesses that we're patronizing. So we're going to each one of those businesses, and it gives the members and other people, because it is open to the public, a chance to see the different places around the community that they may not stop at.
Yeah, so if they want to participate, is there a place online that they can look up kind of the information to get information on the poker run?
Sure. You can go right to our website, which is spacecoastjeepclub.com. It has the flyer on it. There isn't a lot of information. Most of the information will be given out at registration, just due to the way a poker run is. We don't want to have the locations where everyone's going broadcast in advance, because we have certain times that they will have to show up at these for their cards. So we want to keep everybody almost in a convoy going from one location to another. So come to the Boniface Hires Jeep and then get your card and your registration, and then you'll know exactly where you're going. It's not off-road. There's no real far driving. Everything's about 15 minutes apart, so it's not a long distance that you have to drive overall. But we'll have all the locations and everything available that morning.
Yeah, awesome. Sounds like a lot of fun. So we did talk about in our last video events that are going to be happening with the Space Coast Jeep Club, as far as like that encompass all of Brevard County Jeeps, and just anybody that has a Jeep, right? Open to the public.
Open to the public.
But what if you're a member of the Space Coast Jeep Club? Do you have events that are beneficial to the members entirely, just to them?
Yes. Great question. Glad you asked. And that's kind of what sets us apart, and why I want to promote having a membership, because we do things for our members. We have a couple different things that we do every year. We have our Christmas in July party, which we just had at New Smyrna last month. It was really hot. It was a lot of fun. We'll take the Jeeps out and drive on the beach, and we got a bunch of prizes and some raffles to give away. We do a bunch of games. We had cornhole and stuff. So basically a family beach day. Then we also have our Christmas party in December, the real Christmas time. That'll be at Wickham Park this year, but we have that every year for the members, where we provide them catering, food, games. We'll have a different, every year it's a little bit different. Sometimes we do a restaurant. This year we're going to do some food trucks and some outdoor games and stuff like that, as well as our trail rides too. So we do, like last month we did a trail ride out to 3 Lakes. This month we're doing one up in Citrus Wildlife Management Area.
Awesome.
Like Northwest Florida. So members can go on those. We post them for member only rides, as well as we do educational stuff for the Jeep too. So earlier this year we had a safety training with winch and recovery. So if you're not sure how to use your Jeep, or you need some tutorial on just the basics of it, we have a beginning winch class. And then later this year we'll have an advanced winch class. So you went through the beginning class, you understand everything. Now you want to get a little bit more advanced, whether you're pulling yourself out or helping someone out. We do stuff like that. We also have a photo shoot coming up, I think late October, early November. We're going to do a members photo shoot where you take your Jeep, and we'll go out to, I think, Bull Creek Wildlife Management.
Oh yeah.
And we'll shoot you and your Jeep with the stars. So it's really dark out there. There's no light pollution.
Awesome.
So you get out there and get a real cool picture of your Jeep with the whole Milky Way behind it. We have a couple of great photographers in the club that give us their time to do that, and some of the things we do to give back to members.
Yeah, awesome. So lots of benefits to joining the Space Coast Jeep Club. So tell me a little bit about how the Space Coast Jeep Club operates. Like, as a sitting president, what are your roles and responsibilities?
Okay. My roles and responsibilities, as I see them as the president, is to make sure that the club functions and operates well as accomplishes the missions and goals set forth by our members.
Awesome.
So, for instance, some of the duties I have are kind of overseeing other things that get done and make sure they get done in the club. We have a vice president, we have a treasurer, we have a event director, communications director, trail director, safety director. So there's a lot of different people on the boards that are
Right.
helping this club in the background, run. So there's a lot of moving parts to this club that a lot of people don't see, and that really help make this club great. And without them, I couldn't do it myself. So
Yeah.
I appreciate all the board members and what they do, and all the things that aren't seen that happen behind the scenes that make this club operate and work well. And if something's missing or we have a deficiency in an area because someone might have had to step down or because somebody had to step away or we didn't get that position filled, I feel as president, that's my role to step in and make sure that gets taken care of, and we aren't deficient in that area until we can find somebody to do it or we have the proper thing in place to take care of it. So
Awesome.
that's how I view what I do and what the board does to make the club run properly.
Awesome. Very cool. So with the board structure, how is that beneficial to the club members?
I think it's beneficial because it has a structure of what we're supposed to do and keep our mission on track as a club. We have certain things and certain goals that we want to accomplish, and the board kind of helps us move that goalpost along in a positive manner towards those goals to accomplish them. Now, the members' job is important too because we are a democracy. The club is run by our members. We have them to vote us in, as well as our rules and what we do. Everything we do gets voted on by the members, whether it's a Christmas party, whether it's funding for an event or a charitable event. It all goes through the members. So the board kind of oversees those votes and takes them in, and kind of that's how the club operates.
Awesome. Very good information. Very good to know how it's structured.
Yeah. So that's the basic structure of it, and we operate with the Robert's Rules, kind of a voting system, and that's pretty much all.
So basically, all in favor of ending this portion of the interview, say aye.
Aye.
Yeah. So Ed, what was it about the Space Coast Jeep Club that inspired you to become a member?
Funny you should mention that because we're going to have a full circle moment here. The first event I ever came to with Space Coast was an event that they had up at the Kiwanis Park in Merritt Island. It was back Brevard Heroes.
Yep.
So I came to that event. I just recently got my Jeep, did a little research about clubs in the area, wanted to come up and see what you guys had to offer, and I was introduced to a few members at the time, and I really liked what you guys were doing, and I thought it was great that you guys were doing some things to help local heroes in our community and give back, and kind of where we're going with the poker run this year. We're giving right back to them again. So that was kind of what inspired me to be a member. Is I like the fact that it was a 501c3, had some organization to it, a structure to it, as well as give back to the community as one of the common things that the club strives to do. So that was appealing to me.
That's awesome. That's a really good story. So as the sitting president, what have you done for the success and the growth of the Space Coast Jeep Club, and how are you going to close out for 2023?
Okay. So when I first came on as president, I had a few goals that I had set to myself and other board members too, and as it affected some of their positions. So number one, first and foremost, I wanted to make sure that we are a Jeep club, so I wanted to make sure we did more trail rides. I wanted our trail director to make sure we had scheduled rides every month, so we weren't just doing meet and greets in parking lots, which is great for introducing the people to the club. I wanted to give back to the members and make sure that every month we're taking a trip somewhere in Florida. We have different places we can wheel, different levels. So whether it's Citrus next week or some of the ones we've done in the past, just make sure we're doing that on a monthly basis. So that was one of the goals, and that seems to be working out really well. We have a good trail director; he's on it, so I'm happy with that. Another goal, I wanted to grow the club. So I wanted to grow the club and introduce more people to the club, and I partnered up with Boniface Hires Jeep in Cocoa. I reached out to them and pitched them the idea of everybody that buys a new Jeep Wrangler Gladiator from them, they get a free membership to Space Coast Jeep Club.
That's awesome.
So my whole goal with that is to introduce more people to our club. People may not even know we existed, but they got a Jeep.
Right.
And now they may have a Jeep and they don't know exactly what it can do off-road. It could be their first Jeep. So now they have a club with outings and instructions, whether it's safety classes, winching, that kind of things, how to off-road your Jeep safely and responsibly with our Tread Lightly program. Or they could be an experienced Jeep owner and just want to come out and take some rides. So that was part of my structure and idea of what I wanted to grow the club. They have a lot of sales, and I figured if we partnered with them, we could get some more people introduced and do some more good stuff.
Awesome.
So that was something that's coming along, and we're doing all right with it.
That's awesome. Well, Ed, I want to thank you very much for joining me today. And can you tell us again how they can get more information on the Space Coast Jeep Club?
We have a public Facebook page, Space Coast Jeep Club. You can look it up there. We also have our website. Our website has links to our public page as well as our Instagram. All of our events are posted up there. And if you're a member, we have a member section that's coming soon. I'm still working on that. We'll offer discounts and stuff to members. But spacecoastjeepclub.com. Go there, and it has all our information, our social media tags and pictures, and what we're doing, what we're about, as well as our mission statement.
Awesome. Well, thank you again so much, and I appreciate you giving me the time to ask you all these questions and for joining me today.
And thank you for having me, April.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everybody, and we will see you all soon. Bye-bye.